Well, I'm back for a quick video on the Marvel trailer that just got dropped yesterday for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. If you saw my D23 rundown of all the things that Marvel put out during their Fan Expo, I guess it was last month, you know I'm already skeptical about Wakanda Forever. And it mostly has to do with the first trailer they put out. For one, it definitely looks like Shuri, T'Challa's sister, is going to be the next Black Panther. Now, in my D23 video, I said that was patently idiotic. And my reasons for saying that remain. You have a 5.5 foot tall, 100-pound woman who is supposed to fight for the throne without any kind of superpowers that Black Panther might give her. And her brother, who was widely loved by the people of Wakanda, even he had challengers. So the idea that his bookish little sister, who is in charge of coming up with all of the vibranium science gadgets, is going to be as widely loved to the point where she's not going to have any challengers is idiotic. That's my first dislike with the whole Black Panther sequel. The second is some of the CGI looks god awful. We are talking not even 2005 level CGI. There are movies that were made in 2000, 2005, in that time period, that had better CGI than this. How is that possible? Hollywood, how are you going backwards in technology? This should not be happening on a movie that probably costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 to $200 million. These movies come out and the CGI looks terrible, and you just have to wonder, where the hell is the budget going? Because it's not making it to screen. It's like The Rings of Power. Those episodes cost $60 million a piece, and it doesn't show up on the screen. The CGI is terrible, the costuming is terrible, the writing is terrible, the direction is terrible, the editing is terrible, the acting is terrible. So where's this money going? Hollywood, where is the money going? Somebody's making off with money, because it's not going to the productions. So that's number two. Thirdly, from what you can tell, and you can't tell too much, all you know is Namor's a bad guy and Wakanda is the good guys. You can't really tell what the story is, but this last trailer, the small hints that they do give you do not encourage me as to where they are going with the story. And the movie is going to live or die on the story this time. They don't have the magnetic charisma and draw of Chadwick Boseman to lean on. He was at the movie last time. Okay? He was the main reason I liked that movie. Didn't really like the villain because I do not have very much respect for Michael B. Jordan's acting range. He's basically a slight variation of the same character in everything I've seen him in, whether it's TV or movies or whatever. So they don't have anything to lean on this time around. Shuri is not a leading character. I know the feminists are probably going to lose their minds, but she's not. She was the quirky little sister, and she was adorable in the last movie. You don't go from that to leading woman carrying an action movie. It's not going to work. So who's going to carry the movie? It's not going to be Mom. I didn't particularly like Mom in the last movie. It's not going to be the General. The General's the General. She's a lackey. You can't have a movie hang on the lackeys. So who are we hanging this movie on? Who's going to put it on their shoulders and carry it? I'm not seeing it. It's certainly not going to be Namor, because Namor's my fourth problem with this movie. Saying that, we might as well get into him. The more I see of Namor, the less I like. The design for his overall appearance is just shockingly idiotic. Why they decided to go the Mesoamerican route on how he looks is beyond me. At no point in the comic runs that I have seen has he looked like this. Now, I was watching somebody on YouTube talk about this today, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Nerdrotic. But they suggested that the reason they went this route is pretty much the polar opposite of why the Joker looked like the Joker in the first Suicide Squad movie. That was an artistic decision. This apparently is a legal decision. Apparently the rights to Namor, the Submariner, are spread all over hell and back. You'll notice at no point in this trailer do they call him the Submariner. And from what I understand, part of that is because somebody else owns the rights to the title Submariner. They can use Namor, but they can't call him the Submariner. And the speculation is that because the rights are spread all over the place, they may not own the rights to the appearance, the actual physical appearance of Namor. If that's true, I guess I can understand why they would have to change him, but to go in this direction is simply retarded. If you were going to go anywhere with coming up with a way for him to look, as I'm pretty sure it was Nerdrotic suggested, you would go Egyptian, since that's where the stories of Atlantis can be traced back to. They had the stories of Atlantis, and they passed them on to the Greek philosophers. And if you're going to have an underrepresented group in Hollywood that you want to put up on screen, I would think they would just sprint in the direction of having someone from the Middle East be up on film. But then again, this is Hollywood. And they may have thought that through and said, well, we can't have the bad guy be a Middle Easterner again. That's so Islamophobic. And that kind of logic would be Hollywood in a nutshell in 2022. So, this latest trailer drop for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is not working out, at least for me. I'm thinking it's probably still gonna make northward of 500 million, maybe $1 billion if they can gin it up in the media enough, but it's not going to be received anywhere nearly as well as the first movie is. And it's because they're basically doing it in bad faith for money alone. And I know I've said money alone would be nice if that's what Hollywood did with movies these days, because they just seem to want to stick the message in everything. But Black Panther did over $1 billion last time, and I think they see the dollar signs mixed with their ability to preach. And so I don't think this story is going to be nearly as tight as the first movie. I don't think the people behind it are doing it with the same kind of passion. Because if I recall stories correctly, the first director that they wanted bailed. Probably because they took one look at what they were planning and the dictates that Disney is now putting on seemingly everything Marvel does, and realized that being the director on this movie was just going to be a straitjacket. Didn't mean to go on for quite so long, just on a barely 2.5 minute trailer, but I guess we'll see on November 11th whether what I'm thinking as far as what the trailer's revealing is correct or not. If you like what I do here, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and make sure the bell notification icon is hit so that you know when I upload a new video. I'll be back early Friday morning with the Rings of Power video, and until then, I'll see you later. Tschüss.